Greetings everyone. Another video, then more random tool comments. Hammerzeit number 2, that's right. German hammer time number 2. Because I did another one about another Gedore hammer. So today we're going to discuss this Gedore club hammer. Let's see. So let's get into some specifics about it. The model number for this particular monster is 620 H-2000. It is a club hammer with Rotband Plus. If you want to go back and find out about Gedore, you can of course read online, or you can go back and look at my other video where I talked about their Combi Plus R recoilless hammer, multi-purpose one. But in this one, we're going to talk about this, like I said, this big beefy hammer. It is called a club hammer, which is basically kind of like a type of sledge, I guess you'd say. You can also find them as being referred to as you can also find them as being referred to as lump hammers, and basically because it's like a giant lump and you swing it. Let's see, things to note about this. I've also seen them referred to, though I don't believe this one, as a Thor hammer. Though I will say, yeah, there is kind of some resemblance there. That said, this is not a Thor hammer. Interesting things about this hammer. I picked this one up on eBay for a ridiculous price. It's used, and you can kind of tell it's used. There's nicks and scratches. There's kind of a scratch here on the face, and then kind of a scratch there or scuff on the face. But all in all, it's, you know, for the price I paid for it, I feel like I got a pretty good price, and I got it for way less than half price and free shipping on eBay. I'll have links in the description below where you can find this at some of the bigger tool sellers. I don't really have a hammer that's very comparable to this, except perhaps this Craftsman sledge hammer that I've had for a long time. It's, but even then, there's not really that much of a comparison, as you can tell. It's pretty much, this is a lot longer. It's almost 16 inches, while the Gedore hammer is roughly a foot long. The stats on it are, the head itself is 2,000 grams or 2 kilograms. It's a really, really heavy hammer. Let's see what else. It is, all in all, 2.291 kilograms. So the handle itself is about 291 grams. I'm not going to weigh it because I suspect my little scale would probably get crushed. The length is 300 millimeters, which again I said, which is roughly about a foot long. So this sledge has some, or sorry, that's incorrect. This club hammer has some interesting features. The one that really stands out is the what's called the Rotband Plus. Gedore has a patent on this, and basically it is there's a steel, you know, protecting band here, which is part of it. But the other thing is, of course, how it's affixed. So unlike, say, which I don't have one handy, unlike, say, a regular hammer which has a wedge or a couple of wedges knocked in the top of the head, this does not, or through the head into the handle to hold it in to wedge it. This doesn't have that. Now it still has a handle that goes all the way through, but they have this kind of odd, let's see if I can draw it. It's kind of like you have the handle, and then the head of course goes around it. Let me zoom in a bit, actually. Maybe not too much. Let's see here. So you have, like, say, the head, and basically what happens is they have this plate that has a hole here in the middle, and then there's this kind of like a round sleeve, and you screw through this into, there's like a, there's a hole drilled out in the handle, and it pulls it in, and this circular wedge kind of wedges the wood open here on the top of the handle, locking it in place. So it's kind of an interesting thing where they have it, and let's see, I will show you what it looks like on top here. I may have to zoom back out because I don't know that my camera can zoom in that well, but you can see that's where the extremely large Torx screw is, and it goes down into the handle itself. So that's kind of their way, like I said, what they refer to as their Rotband Plus way of attaching their handles. And they say it's, you know, it's extremely durable. It's supposed to I don't say they guarantee that it won't come loose, but they said it's highly unlikely. And I got to say, based on what I've seen and what I would imagine just on how this works, I would say that's probably very true. As I mentioned before, they have the steel band. This, of course, is for strike protection. So if you're hitting something and you slide over and hit, it's protecting the handle itself, and you're not going to break. Others have this, like Hammerzeit has it. They call it Blue Guard. And then Stahlvilla does have no name. They just say, hey, we have a steel band protecting the handle. You know, they kind of dispense with all the trademark marketing, and they're just pretty straightforward in what they say. This is also a hickory handle, which, you know, if you recall from my prior video where I talked about hammers, the DIN German specifications and standards, the minimum specified for hammer is ash, while hickory is preferred. So this is a hickory one. Gedore does sell, it's called the 620E versus the 620H, which is what this one is. The 620E is the ash handle version. And most of the manufacturers will sell their hammers in either ash or hickory variants. And then of course you have others where some of the models they offer fiberglass, and in some cases they even offer rubber on steel. It's very rare, but they have some. This one it's hickory or ash. Now, of course, you can buy replacement handles to replace them, and they have the whole fastening with the Rotband. You have to buy a special one for this one because, of course, it's fit around the handle, so it's its own thing. While the hickory one is different. It actually doesn't have the. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It does have it. They do have what a 20E and a 20H without the 6. That's one which just has a standard hickory or ash handle. It's driven in normally with wedges and whatnot. So uses for this is kind of more of a big, like I said, it's like a club hammer. So you're going to use the weight to do some pretty heavy duty things. You know, they have a nice chamfering here. It's kind of domed a bit. It's very hard to tell, but it's pretty handy to have. In terms of weight, it's really, really heavy. One interesting thing is, and I'll show you this, is you can actually, the head is so heavy that the handle will, unless you really rock it, will actually be held up by the mass of the head. So it's this head, 2 kilograms. It's got a lot of oomph to it, a lot of meat here. So if you're really going to drive something down, like say, I don't know, maybe you're driving rebar down into a ground, or you're trying to really hammer something out and need the mass, this will certainly provide it. You can really, really rack something hard with this thing. Let's see, other points of information about it. Let me give you some dimensions since it's got some interesting ones. The head itself is, let's see, wrong way, is about, looks like, if I can get the light right, it's about 11.5 centimeters long. In terms of the head itself, it's roughly 47 millimeters across both directions of the face. Obviously, it's diagonally, it's going to be longer. And as I said before, it's 300 millimeters long. In terms of heft and for the handle, it actually feels pretty good. The Combi R Plus that I have, I didn't really like the way the handle felt in my hand that much. It wasn't bad, but it felt a little too fat for that hammer, while this one feels just about right. I mean, you got a pretty good substantial grip on it, and I like that a bunch. If I compare to, say, this Craftsman sledge, this one's also pretty decent. But, you know, unlike this is kind of more, you're really trying to get something on this, and it's going to do it with the velocity of having a longer handle, so you'll be able to get more, while this is more, it's going to get its hit from being just so much heavier. And in some cases, the way you might use something like this, honestly, is you just might drop it on whatever it is that you're trying to hit. In some cases, you're not really going to try to swing it. It's really more hold it up and just let it drop, and allow the gravity pulling on the mass of this head to really pull it down and provide controlled but significant force to whatever it is you're trying to strike. So that's kind of a plus of this. All in all, I think this is a pretty good club hammer. I don't really have any others to really compare it to, like I said, other than this sledge, but I've been pretty pleased and impressed with how well it is, and of course it's great that I got it used. I'm not really going to worry about being used. It's a hammer. It's in great shape, and it's yeah, it's pretty good. So I think that's about it for this video. You can like, dislike, comment, subscribe, sign up for notifications, go back and look at some old videos. As always, I'm glad you're here, and thanks for watching.